Welcome to the Katie Wellness Show, where you get the tools, knowledge, and inspiration you need to transform your health and wellness, body, mind, and spirit. You'll learn holistic and practical wellness strategies that empower you to reclaim your health and fully step into your power. You belong here as you learn to tap into your intuition to support your body every step of the way. Let go of what's no longer serving you and teach these tools and strategies to your family to raise emotionally and physically resilient children. Hello. Welcome back to the Katie Wellness Show. I am your host, Lindsey, Katie. And before we jump into today's special episode with my very first guest, I want to share some exciting news with you. In 1 week, I am hosting a free webinar. We are talking all things processing. So if you have been on the fence about whether to get a process or not, if you've heard me talk about it in previous episodes or on Instagram and have questions about what is a process, who can benefit, what are some of the benefits that I will see if I were to get a process. Processing has completely changed my life. It has completely changed how I show up in my life. It's completely changed my relationships and my ability to be present in my own life. I want to share these benefits with you. I want to show you how processing can help you as well with your physical body, with your emotions, with your relationships, in every area, in every aspect of your life. Processing can make huge changes, and it's all about releasing what's no longer working, reprogramming your brain, and putting what is actually going to help you, replacing what's not working and putting in what is. Check it out in the show notes. You will need to register for this webinar. Like I said earlier, it is free, no charge for you. It is my gift. I want to connect with you. I want to show you how impactful this can be, these emotional processing sessions. But you will need to register. So be sure to register before Wednesday. The webinar will be on Wednesday, January 8th, starting at 6 p.m. Pacific time. And it is something that you can have your screen on and be involved, and there will be time for questions. Or if you just want to listen in and see as an anonymous, you don't have to turn your screen on. You don't have to turn your camera on. You don't have to ask questions. But if you are curious at all about processing and about clearing your emotions and about taking back your power and about having the ability to speak up for yourself and being able to find your voice, you are going to want to join this webinar. Check out the link in the description box below and get registered. Now on to today's episode. Okay, so I have my first guest here with me. This is my son, Easton. Easton, do you want to tell everybody hello?
Hello.
How old are you, Easton?
I'm 10.
And how old were you when you had your first process? Do you remember?
I was 8.
Okay. And was I the one to give you your first process?
No.
No, I took you to somebody who
Yes.
was training as well,
Yes.
right? Do you remember that very first process at all?
Yeah, a little bit.
What do you remember about it?
It had to do a lot with when I wasn't born.
Was it scary?
No.
Was it hard? Like, did you cry? Was the facilitator mean?
No.
Okay. So if there are other kids out there who maybe their moms are thinking about processing, what would you say? What would you want other kids to know about processing?
It's probably the best thing for you while you're a kid to get rid of stress if you have stress.
But you're a kid. You don't have stress.
You'd be surprised.
Okay. So what are some of the things? Do you remember any of the things that you talked about or that you felt or that you did? What were some things that you did during the processing session?
I colored.
Okay.
I colored out my emotions.
And was that helpful?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was also fun.
Yeah. As you were coloring, the facilitator would ask you questions, and if you didn't really know the answer, what would she have you do? Or if you didn't
Color
have,
it out.
okay, she would just tell you to just pick a color
Mm-hmm.
and draw it out, right?
Mm-hmm.
So when you've had a couple of processes since that very first one,
Yeah.
right? Like you helped me get my certification when I was learning to work with kids.
Mm-hmm.
How do you know when you need another process? Like what are some things that you notice?
I haven't actually thought on that very much.
Oh, okay.
But probably the one that would be most would probably be that I'm overreacting. Like, how do I say this? Like, if somebody was using some of my Legos that I didn't want them to use, I would overreact and, like, do something mean.
Okay. And that's your signal to you that,
Yes.
oh, I'm overreacting. I'm feeling like more emotional than maybe I think I should. Things
I
seem like a
have too
really big
much
deal.
anger stuffed inside me and I just can't hold it anymore.
Okay. And so that's when you know, hey mom, I need a process.
Yeah.
Can we work together?
Mm-hmm.
What do processes with mom look like? What do we do during a process?
Sit in your bed and color.
Yeah. Basically we're coloring it out, huh?
Mm-hmm.
And I ask you a bunch of questions about maybe some things that you remember, maybe some things that you didn't remember. I remember working through you feeling lonely, like times when you felt lonely or invisible or had a hard time making friends. And we've worked through those types of things
Mm-hmm.
together.
Mm-hmm.
What is your favorite part of the process? Like,
When you get to color.
yeah, there's a coloring it out part where we color out the bad, right? The heavy, the icky feelings, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then we also color at the end the good that we want to replace,
Mm-hmm.
right?
And there's also other ways to do it. You can do it on a workout ball. You can sit on that, bounce up and down if you don't like to just sit there.
Yeah. So sometimes if your energy needs to get out through movement, I'll have you bounce on a ball,
Mm-hmm.
right? I've done walking processes before where,
You're walking.
yeah, I don't know that I've done a walking process with you yet, like where we've been on a walk, but I know that that's another option as well. Just moving the body physically helps to get the emotions out, the emotions released that way.
Mm-hmm.
Is there anything that kids should be scared of during a process?
Maybe meeting a new person, but that's about it.
Oh, like meeting a new facilitator?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Um, yeah, it can be scary meeting someone new, can't it?
Mm-hmm.
And not knowing how they're gonna talk to you. But were you ever with the other facilitator? So the very first process that you had, or the first couple of processes, you did it with someone other than me.
Mm-hmm.
Were you ever alone with that person?
Mm-mm.
No. Who else was in the room?
You.
Okay. So there's always a parent,
Because you
right?
were also learning.
Yeah, I was learning. Well, at that point I wasn't going to school. I was
You knew about it, but you weren't doing anything with it.
yet. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
That's right. And also it is for the kids' safety to have an adult during the session, which is how I do mine as well. So there's always a parent and the child and then me as the facilitator, which is how it was when you had your first process. And it can also be helpful to have a parent there. So,
They can answer questions that you can't.
right. So that first process that you did, you said it was when you weren't born yet.
Mm-hmm.
But if the facilitator's asking you questions, hey, Easton, what was it like when you weren't born yet? You probably aren't going to
I'm
know.
like, Nothing?
Yeah, you aren't going to know that. So it's really helpful to have a parent there to say, "Oh, we at the time we were living here and these are the things that were happening and these are the things that mom may have been feeling or that dad may have been feeling," right?
Mm-hmm.
Because
You were feeling stressed out because Dad was working in Salt Lake?
no, that was not when I was pregnant with you.
Oh. Oh, yeah, because we were in Vernal.
Yeah. We learned that sometimes the emotions that we are feeling or that are kind of stuck with us don't really belong to us, right?
Yeah.
Sometimes as parents, we pass down our emotions and our programming and our beliefs to our
The
kids.
kids.
And then the kids are like, wait, what is this? I don't know what to do with it. So processing is a way to help get some of that out as well. Some of
Mm-hmm.
that programming that doesn't really belong to you
Mm-hmm.
out. Cool. Anything else that you would say about processing?
I'd say it's fun. At least for me.
Yeah.
And you should definitely do it.
Who should?
Everybody.
Everybody.
It's just my opinion. But
Okay. Mine too.
it would probably be better if adults do it because kids haven't had as long to stuff down.
Okay.
Parents usually have like almost their entire lifetime to stuff down. So it'd probably be better for adults than kids, but it's still fun to do it when you're a kid because then you can color
Yeah.
if
Uh,
you like to color.
yep. Okay, last question. What so usually you know when it's time to have a process when you overreact or get mad over things that don't normally bother you. Once you do a process, what are some of the benefits that you notice afterwards? Like, how are you different after a process versus before?
I'm better at sharing. I'm less grumpy all the time. I get a better night's sleep. I get to sleep faster. Uh which I already have the record of going to sleep in like 2 minutes, but
But still, those are some pretty amazing
yeah.
benefits.
And I get my school done quicker.
Yeah. You're able to stay focused
Yeah.
better.
I'm focused when
Is
I
it
have.
time for another process now?
What are you talking about? I'm just getting older.
Anything else?
What were we talking about again?
Benefits from processing.
Oh yeah. Um, I tend to be more adventurous, even though I am pretty adventurous already. I just tend to like to spend more time outside and less time inside.
Okay.
I like to climb trees more. I like to go on hikes. I like to ride my bike.
More just from processing.
Yeah, because I
Awesome.
get those feelings out of me that are like, whatever. I'll just skip over it.
So you're like ready to take on life again.
Mm-hmm.
You're not like, oh, I just want to read a book in my room and not talk to anyone and be all by myself.
Mm-hmm.
You're like, yeah, let's go do stuff.
Yeah.
Okay. Very cool. Well, thank you for being my first guest on my podcast.
Okay. You're welcome.
Do you want to say goodbye?
Bye.
Thanks for joining me today. And this is your reminder to register for the webinar that is coming up on January 8th. The link is in the description box below.